Oh, there you are, YouTube. Doodle 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 do. Subscribe if you're interested, but also no pressure. So, there's this movie that came out this year called Smile, and my wife and I, every October, we do a Halloween Advent calendar where in each pocket of the calendar is a movie title, a horror film or horror adjacent movie that we pluck out of that calendar. And sometimes we put new movies in that come out that October, so we sort of have to rig the calendar. Usually it's random unless a movie comes out that day, then we will make sure we watch that. Like Halloween Ends. We did that with Halloween Ends. But a movie that got past us that we didn't even know was coming out, or we did and we forgot, or maybe we weren't interested in it. I think that's what it was. I think we weren't interested in it after watching the trailer. Was Smile. And we started hearing all these great things about it. So we were like, oh man, I wish we would have put that one in the calendar. Because we put other movies in, like Black Phone, we put that one in. And then, did we do Barbarian? Actually, I don't think we put Barbarian in, but we did watch Barbarian. But we didn't have time to watch Smile, right? Even after all we heard all these good things about it. So we were like, we'll put it in the Advent calendar next year. But what happened was we just felt like watching a movie today, and we kept listing off all of these movies, and none of them were horror films. And it was just kind of like, I don't know how interested I am in that. And then one of us said Smile, and it was like, you know what? Yeah, let's go back to horror. Right after Christmas, let's get into horror movies because we just finished our Christmas Advent calendar where we watch all these Christmas movies. It just kind of felt a little weird, but also cool and fun to get back into horror right away. So yes, we watched Smile today. Sorry that took 2 minutes to explain, but we watched Smile today. And it stars Sosie Bacon, who is Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick. I always want to say Edie Sedgwick. Kira Sedgwick's daughter. And I thought this movie was pretty good, but it was recalling a lot of things from other movies, I felt. Like if you've seen It Follows, I'm sure while you're watching Smile, you start thinking of It Follows, right? Raise your hand if you thought of It Follows while you were watching this movie. Also, Sosie Bacon's fiance in this movie plays Will Smith's son in Independence Day 2, and the person who plays um, the the former president's daughter in Independence Day 2 was the lead in It Follows. So that's kind of interesting. Um, I shouldn't have said that because that tangent just made me completely lose my thought. Oh yeah, so yeah, this movie makes you think of other movies, right? And pretty strongly. So there's that first one there with It Follows. There were also some moments that made me recall The Sixth Sense, like when Sosie's character was listening to these recordings from interviews that she had with former patients. Remember when Bruce Willis does that, when he's listening to Donnie Wahlberg's voice on tape. So made me think of that movie. There were other movies that came to mind. But what I did like at the end, we were seeing some pretty cool practical effects and makeup. I think it did sort of shift the feeling of the movie to like a different type of movie. It was like the first half of the movie wanted it to feel like a trauma, psychological horror film that we've been getting lately, like Hereditary or The Babadook, things like that. And then the end of it, it gets a little bit into like practical effects, makeup style stuff, which didn't really fit into those other categories. But that's what it was. I just remembered Hereditary. It made me think of Hereditary when you have the body on fire that's moving around. That was very much like I was just like, Hereditary. Did it make you think of Hereditary if you've seen Hereditary? Because it made me think of Hereditary. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Near the end, when it started to get into the practical effects, it sort of felt like we were watching a different type of movie versus the other one, where it felt, like it was it. Not that it was A24, but it was like, you know, pulling influence from more of the psychological style, like Midsummer and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. And sometimes the dialogue was a little on the nose, but I still liked it, but I don't think I was blown away by it. But there were a lot of good jump scares in it, like a lot of creepy imagery in it. But I think like as a story and some of the other aspects of the visuals just didn't quite grab me so much. But I would watch it again, but I wasn't blown away by it. But after hearing so many good reviews, I did sort of raise my expectations. So, you know, that that's always a tough thing for the movie, um, when that happens. Tough thing for me too, because I start to expect a little bit more, and then I, end up with a movie I liked, but I wasn't blown away by. But maybe had I not seen all those good reviews, I would have been okay with it. But anyway, yeah, still I think worth watching. There are a lot of great jump scares in it. People will, be frightened. There's some cool practical effects there at the end and makeup at the end, which is really cool. But it does feel like it's borrowing a lot, and maybe I don't even know if that's a problem, but it took me out of the movie a few times. But yeah, it's doing that quite a bit, and some of the dialogue's just a little on the nose. But what are you going to do about that? Anyway, have you seen Smile? If so, what did you think of it? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below. And perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.